Alright, what up Street Talks, this is Eric Kim. Alright, so another Turbo Thought. So this is the Turbo Thought. So I read something in Heraclitus which was kind of interesting and obscure. The basic notion and gist was, you know, war is the father of all things and it's made some men great and it's made some into slaves. So what does he mean by that and stuff like that? So if I think about one of the earliest histories that existed, that's still in existence, it's the history of the Peloponnesian War by Thucydides, and it's a history of the war. And it looks like the things that at least historians like to write about is the lurid, it's the detailed, it's the wars. And to me, war is kind of like a metaphorical thing, right? War is not necessarily something that's like quite literally you have to get guns and swords and kill each other, but actually to me war could be a metaphorical thing, a metaphysical thing, where you're essentially taking you're essentially taking reality, existence and whatnot, and you're kind of having to go to battle. And now even right now I think we're in a biological war against COVID. It's humans versus COVID. It's like, it's like Pacific Rim, right? It's like humans versus the virus. And so this is interesting to me because war is a good thing in the sense that it toughens us, it builds muscles, it builds resilience. And I think the reason why actually most of us Americans are kind of freaking about COVID is that most Americans, we've actually never had to go through that much crazy difficulty. Like even one of the benefits I had, having a mom who's essentially an immigrant, is that she had to go through so much hardship to, take me to where I am today. And most Americans, like, if you grew up middle class or, you had some parents who've been here for a few generations, you might have not had to go through that struggle. And so I think difficulty, hardship actually brings out the best in us, because even if I think about my life, once I became more successful in life and I made more money, blah blah, I think it made me more lazy and complacent than anything. And actually this is the notion, is that people always like, oh, once I get tenured and once I get some sort of safety net, then I could finally feel the freedom to create. I actually think the opposite is true. I don't think actually that does none, is that once you become safe and secure and stuff like that, that actually makes you kind of more basic in terms of your thinking, your output and stuff like that. And I actually think that it's in times of difficulty, in times of war, which kind of separates the wheat from the chaff. I think that's the saying, to separate the platinum from the bronze, like Jay-Z says it, right? And so I think in life, right now we're at war, and you're a soldier, you're a hero, you're a king, you're a warrior king, a warrior emperor, philosopher emperor, Marcus Aurelius, King Leonidas, whoever you want to choose as your idol. And essentially, war is good because it teaches us to find gratitude in limited supplies. So even the reason why a lot of people are hurting or kind of freaking out right now is that actually, truth be told, we are in a situation where supplies are becoming a little more limited. Like generally, if us Americans want something, like we want toilet paper or whatever, it's like there's trillions of toilet papers. But now that things get out of stock, there's kind of pandemonium because people's like, yo, I've always been able to buy it, and then now I can't buy it. People's kind of freaking out, right? And I mean, if you just think about it, right? Compare us, soft individuals with the ancient Spartans. Can you imagine the Spartans being like, oh my God, I can't get toilet paper no more. I can't get a face mask, or, I can't, my Amazon Prime is taking a lot longer. So, the reason I like to read histories and wars and actually even watch these zombie movies is I realize that no matter how hard or difficult my situation is, there's been humans in the past who have faced 1 trillion times more difficulty than me. And actually, not only have they survived, but they actually thrived and they became stronger. And the reason why we still remember individuals like King Leonidas is, dude, like, he actually put his life and his skin on the game, and he took him and his 300 Spartans. And the crazy thing about the movie 300, or the story about the Spartans, the 300 soldiers, it's actually a real story. Like, I always thought it was just kind of like, you know, this is Sparta, and then they just try to, you know, kick the fools into them. But actually, no, it's actually based on like real history. I mean, obviously the details are fabricated, but or some of the details are fabricated, but a lot of the quotes are actually, you know, written by, what's his face? I forgot who wrote it, but one of the ancient Romans or the Greek historians. So the Battle of Thermopylae or whatever actually did happen. King Leonidas did take 300 of the best soldiers and did fight to their death. And why is it that we still remember their names? Is because they put their skin on the line, and they actually took that risk to attempt greatness and attempt great things. And so when we think about our lives, realize that times of war are actually good. Times of war is where, actually, you know, the funny thing too is that, like, even nowadays, I feel a stronger sense of community with other people, with strangers, people I don't even know. Like, now that when I'm walking the streets, I see a stranger, I just wave hello or just smile and say, hey, how's it going, right? And like, in the past, I never did that. Like, even though I'm a pretty personable, social person, I would never do that in the past. But now, I feel like because we're in wartime, then I have to be kinder to my neighbor, or I have to be kinder to those around me and so forth. And yeah, so know that in times of war, rationing, difficulty, and want, and having to cut back, I think could actually bring out the best in us and our creativity, our ideas. Like, even for myself, like, now that I'm seeing that a lot of people hurting, that's actually kind of given me more motivation and inspiration to make more of these videos, for me to blog more, to vlog more, whatever, because I really do feel like my ideas and my thoughts could actually make a meaningful impact on the lives of those around me. And I just really want to encourage people that essentially not to be so scared, for all of us to continue to make artwork and to continue to share and to continue to not be so scared. So know in life, the purpose of reading histories, it seems like, is to realize that humans are the most resilient, powerful, epic individuals ever. And I'm kind of glad that we're fighting a virus right now and we're not having a world war of, like, you know, one nation versus another. So it looks like the more we could fight together versus this metaphorical enemy, it's going to be good for society. More people is going to be kinder to each other, more supportive. It's going to bring out more of our inner genius. And never forget, friend, you're stronger than you think you are.